Hello. Welcome back to the Fuel Thought podcast.
Hello.
And today, we're going to talk about Japanese Grand Prix
2024.
2024.
Race review.
Is this race 5? 4
Yes.
Or 5? Okay.
Yes. Is it? No, 4.
4.
Race 4.
4. Race 4. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. I know. Yeah.
Question is, was it worth getting up early for? That's the first question.
I think it was. It wasn't that early. To be fair, I did have plans Saturday night,
like
so
6.
I only had like 2 hours sleep again. But,
God.
oh well.
I have a confession.
Okay.
I missed the start.
No.
Set like 3 alarms.
What time did you get up?
I tried to get up at 5:45.
Yeah.
I obviously sleep snoozed it or something. Sleep cancelled the alarm.
Yeah.
I woke up, and you know when you wake up and you can feel like you feel like you've slept for too long. You're like, this is
I'm late.
suspicious. I've woken up on my own accord. This feels like suspicious.
Yeah.
I looked at the clock and it was like almost 6:30. I was like, no, crap.
You are a very lucky person.
Turned it on.
You're a very lucky person.
Just the end of the red flag, and I'd missed 1 lap.
Yes, you did.
Like I hate missing the start though, because the start's always really exciting.
Yeah.
I really like the starts of Grand Prix.
Yeah, same.
So I was
That's
still
when
a little gutted to
we
miss
always
that.
like, whenever we watch it all together, we always sit on the edge of the sofa.
Like one of my, I guess, traditions is to lean forward
Yeah.
just as the lights are coming on.
I actually get really, like, do you remember when I said I was like, I get really nervous when they start the Grand Prix? Because obviously that's when most of the crashes happen.
It's like when you're running a race and
Yeah.
you're at the start line, your heart starts going.
Yeah, that's what I get. And I'm
That's
like,
not to that extent.
I'm literally sat on my sofa. I'm literally fine.
But I got to see the second start, which is kind of the real start anyways.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there wasn't, obviously apart from the crash, there wasn't really much different.
yeah, I rewatched it and I was like, you know what, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I was lucky because it's like, remember in Australia, was it a couple of years ago, where there was that red flag and it was like 2 hours of red flag.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I wish I'd just gotten up at like 8 now.
Yeah, because then you would have still been able to
It's
watch
like,
the
I
race.
kind of did that to a lesser extent. It's
You
like,
did. Yeah, you got very lucky there.
Yeah.
Well done.
So, yeah, I'm able to talk about this because of the red flags. I
Yeah.
already rewatched it, but even so, I
Yeah.
got to watch it live. Yeah, anyway, we have returned to the original ending theme of Formula One,
The Dutch national anthem.
the Dutch national anthem. Yeah,
Da, 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 da.
no,
No?
no,
No. Well,
the one that sounds like the 12 Days of Christmas a little bit.
yeah, obviously I know that the da, 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 Max Verstappen's not the Dutch national anthem, although some may argue it almost is.
You know what? Side note: I was in Amsterdam a couple months ago at a gig, and like during a bit where it was quiet, I was like da 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 da, and this Dutch kid next to me is like Max Verstappen, and just as a joke, I was like Lewis Hamilton, and then like 3 people turned around and looked at me, and I was like, oh,
You could have got beaten
I'm in
up.
the wrong place for this.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Like, nah, they took it as a joke.
Yeah,
obviously. Like, anyway, speaking of Red Bull, Max Verstappen won obviously again. We counted Sergio Perez out a bit, didn't we?
We did, and I think I might have to change my tune about Sergio Perez now and start considering him.
Yeah, he's consistent when he wants to be, like consistent enough in that Red Bull to just pick up second places.
Yeah.
It's just whenever he kind of drops down, you kind of start to question. And he hasn't done it too much this year, only once. So we kind of have no reason to question him.
Exactly.
But it's like you kind of in the back of your mind are thinking, when's that drop going to come in form again this year?
Yeah.
So
Because he did start quite strongly last season and then he dropped off. So we'll see. But I think, yeah, even other people are basically like, Max Verstappen, you're basically a 4th-time world champion already.
yeah. Well, even he's going along with the joke now.
Yeah.
Do you see it at the end when he was putting the stickers on the cooler?
Oh, no, I didn't see.
They have like a champagne cooler that they display the champagnes in and
Yeah,
take pictures
yeah.
of. They're putting like stickers of each race on it, and he like put this sticker right next to the last sticker and was like, I put it really close because we're gonna need more space.
Well, fair enough then.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he knows he's going to win loads.
it's like leaning into the joke.
Yeah. But even though Sergio Perez is performing very well and getting second place as he should, I still don't think that he's going to have that seat next season.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be Carlos Sainz or I don't know, maybe Daniel Ricciardo.
No.
I know
not
I'm
at this
saying
point.
that, but I know he's not performing in the RB. But I just wonder whether they'll just
No,
stick
he
him in
stops
that Red
down.
Bull.
No. He hasn't done anything to deserve it.
I know, that's true.
Yeah.
I just think that the RB and the Red Bull, obviously they're different cars, and I just think that the Red Bull just suits Daniel Ricciardo the best.
Yeah, but he didn't perform in the McLaren. He's not performing in the RB.
Yeah.
And it's like...
He's not proving that he deserves the Red Bull seat. I just think...
You can't just put him in the best seat on the grid because he's going to be good in this one. It's
no,
like,
you can't. You can't.
It's got to be on merit.
Do you think that if Daniel Ricciardo was in Sergio Perez's seat now, that he would be performing better than Sergio Perez?
I don't know
It's
at this
hard to
point.
say. Like by better, I mean like closer to Max.
He was good in a Red Bull 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Or
I think mentally
4 years ago.
he's lost it a bit.
But that's not to say like it's a completely different car now. You know, so
Yeah.
what's to say he's going to be good in this one? Apart from his test that he did last year.
Yeah. Do you think Carlos Sainz or Fernando Alonso?
No, probably Yuki Tsunoda.
Ooh,
There's a better chance.
He is proving himself this season, to be fair.
Yeah.
And now thinking about it, it probably would be quite harsh to put Daniel Ricciardo in that Red Bull over him when he's literally outperformed Daniel Ricciardo every race this season so far.
Yeah, well, I saw someone on Twitter, I think it might have been one of the F1 pundits actually, saying that Yuki's done more for that Red Bull seat than Pierre Gasly or Alex Albon did when they got the seat.
Yeah.
He's shown more than those two had at the time they got the seat. So
Yeah, I think he deserves it, actually.
if it was a meritocracy, then he would get it.
Yeah. He could get it next season. I think Sergio Perez said in a few weeks' time he'll find out whether he's
Yeah.
staying at Red Bull.
But as you say, Sainz might get it. He's obviously doing a lot more to prove, but he's just not a Red Bull driver, so...
I've heard that he is in talks with Toto Wolff, but I'm sure he's probably in talks with a lot of the team principals.
And plus Mercedes are what? The 4/5
yeah.
best team now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, we should probably talk about Yuki Tsunoda. Home race, points.
We actually didn't talk about him last podcast.
No,
And
we
it's his
didn't.
home race. And I was like, I texted you after and I was like...
he's done something now that's
Yeah.
worth talking about.
Yeah. But we should have mentioned him in our previous
should have.
podcast. Disgraceful of us. But yeah, P10 in qualifying. He knocked Daniel Ricciardo out. Had a good race. Finished P10.
Yeah. But
Got
did you see
points.
he said he's like done like 10,000 hours on that track?
Oh,
like 10,000
really?
laps or something. And so like he just knows it like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
It was just overtaking cars, like usually where you don't overtake. Like Stroll did a couple of overtakes in a similar place.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just kind of sending it into the S's.
He was determined to get points at his home race and he didn't
Yeah.
let the people down.
Yeah, he's been quite consistent this season already.
He has,
so
yeah. I do think he deserves that Red Bull seat now.
We'll see. I mean, a couple points here and there, you know.
Yeah, but it has pushed RB up quite a lot in the standings.
Yeah.
Considering Daniel Ricciardo's not getting those points.
Yeah, but yes, Yuki was celebrating that like a win.
Yeah,
You know,
bless him.
he should be proud.
He should be. Well done, Yuki.
See, they were zooming in on like his family, and I don't know who it was. It might be like his dad or someone, but the older or gent was just like kept waving and they're like tapping.
Oh,
the
I
younger
did see
girl
that.
on the
Yeah, I
shoulder,
saw
like, "Look, the
that.
camera's like on us again."
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
It was sweet.
It's always nice when their families can go watch them at their home race.
Yeah.
I bet that's like a F1 driver's dream for their
Any
families
sports
to be
person's
there.
dream, right?
True. Yeah.
But the flip side of that coin is, well, we talked about it last week, didn't we? That Daniel Ricciardo needs to perform,
Yes.
and yet again, he's had a stinker.
He really
And it was
has.
his fault as well.
Do you think? Because I actually don't think so.
Drifted across.
But he was taking the racing line. And he was in front of Alex Albon.
It was on a straight bit of tracks. Not
It was just before the turn.
you can't just turn into people. It was his fault.
I think we can agree to disagree here, because
No, I mean,
Alex should have
everyone-
backed off.
There was nowhere for him to go. Everyone on Sky Sports said it was Daniel's fault.
They said it was a racing incident.
Yeah, but it
And Daniel was taking the racing line.
was Ricciardo's fault.
Okay.
It was.
Okay.
It was. It was. Okay, we can. It was careless at best.
Okay.
You know, he should have been more. It was lap 1, obviously, but the fact that he needs to stay in the race and put in a performance, like,
Yeah.
can't be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, he can't. I think they showed that he was looking to his left and wasn't aware that Alex was there as well. So.
Well, you can't say that's an insurance provider, can you? On the road, like, sorry, mate, I was looking to my left, so I didn't realise there was a car on my right. Oops.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it's a shame because obviously it ruined his and Alex's race, and Williams haven't been having a good time either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just am really gutted about Daniel Ricciardo at the moment. He got a lot of kind of grilling on Twitter.
People like him, but yeah, a large portion of the F1 Twitter base, which is kind of toxic for a lot of the part, have been saying that he doesn't deserve a seat, and it's like, come on. There's no need to be.
I think people need to put some respect on Daniel Ricciardo's name because
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know his history in the F1, but he's one of the only drivers that's actually been able to challenge Max in that Red Bull.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's won 8 races.
He certainly has had talent in his career.
Yeah.
And talent doesn't just fall off a cliff necessarily.
I think it's all mentality. And I think that he's been knocked mentally. So that's why.
That does remind me of a story, though. The whole looking left and right thing.
What story?
When I worked in a supermarket, I was pushing some trolleys, and this girl pulls out of a junction, looks left, doesn't look right, and I'm just there. And I just
She crashes into you.
Well, I crashed the trolleys into her, but because she just pulled up straight in front of me, and if you're pushing like 20 trolleys, or
you're not going to be able
many
to
it
move out of
was,
the way in time, are you?
no way.
So she didn't know where she was going?
No.
Oh, she pulled a Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, she pulled it.
That's what we're going to call it now.
My manager showed me the footage and was like, "Yeah, it wasn't your fault."
Nice.
Like, she just pulled that straight in front of me.
Yeah.
But people are mental when it comes to car parks. Just
To be
drive
fair, I have
differently.
crashed my car in a car park before. Everyone was fine. There was no one in the other car. The other car was parked. Moving on.
You're not going to be an F1 driver anytime soon.
I have said before that if I was an F1 driver, I'd be very good. But no, I'm not.
Anyway, Ferrari. Good race from them.
Very good race. They didn't, Charles didn't qualify well.
But he got driver of the day.
He did get driver of the day.
Because he pulled off a masterful one-stop strategy on the track with high deg.
Tyre whisperer.
Ferrari seems to be really good on the tyres this season.
Yeah.
Seems to be the best car for it.
It was really impressive. Obviously, Carlos overtook him, but I don't think we can really compare them this race because they were on different strategies.
Carlos qualified better.
Exactly, he qualified
He already
P4.
had the advantage there. But given Charles's race pace, he probably would have performed, outplaced Carlos if he qualified better.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
So,
I saw Sky Sports they found the simulation data, and it said that if Charles had pitted again, that he would have ended P7, not P4. Mm-hmm. So he definitely maximised his result from the strategy that he did.
Yeah. So obviously, I'd say pretty even performance from both drivers in the race.
Yeah.
In qualifying, obviously, Carlos did better and reaped the rewards of that.
Yeah. It was nice to see Charles wearing a helmet in memory of Jules Bianchi.
Yeah, 10 years. Same track.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
10 years already. It's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it was nice to see that he was wearing that, and nice to see that he got driver of the day and had a good race.
Yeah.
In his memory. But Carlos Sainz.
We can stop being Charles apologists now and put some respect on Carlos' name for another pretty flawless performance, to be honest. Another podium for him.
Yeah, he's got a podium every race that he has started this season.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
respect to Carlos Sainz here.
Yeah. With Charles Leclerc as your teammate and the Red Bulls being as quick as they are, that's no sort of small feat there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I saw Bernie Collins say everything that Carlos does is basically an interview. So he's like interviewing for his next team with every thing he does. So qualifying, gets a good position in qualifying. He's obviously proving himself. Gets good in the race. Gets a good position in the race.
Did you see that? I saw a post saying that Audi have given him like a 2-week ultimatum or 2-month ultimatum to decide whether he's going to be in their team in 26. And it's like, you are no place to give Carlos Sainz ultimatums. He's in the seat of power here.
He literally is.
So, if you want him on your team, you better kind of fight for him.
You can't do that. If I was Carlos Sainz, I'd be like, you'd be lucky to have me.
Yeah.
So
I think it's because they want to throw a lot of money in the sport, but there's a cost cap, so
yeah.
I think a certain amount you're going to be able to do. I mean, look at Aston Martin. They're sort of hiring all the best guys,
Yeah. You just don't know what's going to happen. Like that's why I found it really bizarre that they announced Lewis signing for Ferrari so early. You just don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, at the moment, it looks like he's making the right decision because Mercedes aren't quite up there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Even Ferrari, like obviously Carlos is performing really well.
Yeah, but if you get a chance to sign Lewis Hamilton,
very true. I think it's just different
it's
story.
It's the optics of it. It's your brand's gonna go up quite a lot. For Hamilton, it's like, want to race for Ferrari at some point in my career, maybe end my career there. And if I get a win there, then it's just another case of great timing for me. So it's like, it's kind of a win-win all round for them.
Yeah.
And for Carlos, it's a case of I didn't do anything wrong, but also I'm going to end my career in Ferrari on a high and have really high stocks for the next team and maybe end up in a Red Bull. So
yeah, I think Carlos is at the peak of his career at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. Right, move on to McLaren.
Yeah, let's move on to McLaren. Lando Norris.
Was it a 5-6 for them?
No.
Oh no, Fernando.
8.
5-8, yeah, because Russell got Piastri.
He did.
Yeah.
So obviously Lando qualified P3, Oscar qualified P. Oscar qualified P6. Lando finished P5 and Oscar finished P8, so they both dropped 2.
Yeah. Solid weekend, solid haul of points, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
I think.
Obviously, they had a good race last year. Not as good this
year. They did.
Year.
A very good race last year.
Lando did the undercut on Carlos with his first stop, and it worked.
Yeah. The thing is, yeah. I was kind of. I think a lot of people were kind of confused by Lando's strategy because they pitted along with all the other 2 stoppers, and then, in fact, earlier than Carlos, and then they decided to pit super early as if they were doing a 1-stop, but they'd already pitted.
Yeah.
And it's like, hang on, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm going to cover off George." It's like, what? And as Lando said, it's like, why do we need to cover off George?
Yeah, like first of all, Lando pitted the exact same lap that Charles pitted his first pit stop, because obviously Charles was on a 1-stop.
Yeah.
And Lando and Charles pitted at the same time, and that was Lando's second stop. So obviously Charles had done, I think it was 27 laps on those medium tyres. Lando probably pitted, I can't remember when he did his first pit stop, it was probably like lap 8 or something.
Yeah.
Because they pitted really early, so we'd only done 20 laps on those tyres. On I think it was hard tyres. And then they decided to lap him again with half the race left. And
to pit him again.
Sorry, to pit him again with half the race left. And Charles came out ahead of him, and he was on the 1-stop. And then, obviously, his tyres would fall off towards the end. And his race wasn't with George.
No, obviously they've got all the data. I wonder if they saw something on the data of that Mercedes or something. It's like, but it was clearly a slower car this weekend.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw that in Lando's interviews. He said he's aware that Ferrari are the quicker car.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising them finishing ahead of him. But he thought
I
that
think
P4 was in the bag.
I think it probably.
Yeah.
From a, I guess, a layman's point of view, it probably was, but again, I'm just a spectator at home, so that all I can do is speculate.
Yeah. But I think maybe if they'd pitted Lando a bit later, then...
Seems logical they should have.
Yeah, because obviously Charles was ahead of him.
But didn't you say that Lando gave his engineer the silent treatment?
I think so. That's what I read. I'm not sure how true that is.
It's proper broody, doesn't he, when he's racing?
I can imagine that you'd be exactly the same.
Yeah, probably.
You're so competitive that you would be exactly the same. Okay, if you were a Formula 1 driver and that happened to you, you would definitely do that.
I used to be, but the trick is now just...
You used to be a Formula 1 driver? No way.
Competitive. But the trick is now just not compete, really. It's like... Okay. No, these days I'm like, if I have to compete at something, I'm like, I can't be arsed, because it's like, I know that I have to care about it.
Yeah.
And then it annoys me.
Yeah. You just, that's exactly it. But obviously they're gonna act like that because that's their like passion, their job. But I can understand why he would be annoyed.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get it.
Because he knew that he could maximise a bit more than what he did. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And Piastri, man, mistake cost him a place, didn't it, at the end?
It did. Shame to see, because he was covering Georgia for quite a lot. Mm-hmm. His defending was really good. And then he just had that little mistake and George took him.
Which it was sort of great pressure from George. But Piastri is showing some kind of consistency, but relative to his teammates, like... But he's still getting sort of decent points every week. I just want to see him at the same level as Lando.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe it's like unfair to expect that of him in his second season.
It's tricky because obviously you've seen how he's come up through Formula 3.
And him winning a sprint race last year, getting podium.
Yeah.
Like...
But the McLaren isn't as good as it was last season.
No, you probably should give him a break.
Yes. But I do
it's
think
early days as well.
Yeah. I do think he does challenge Lando, though, which I don't think Lando really has had.
Yeah, he pushes him, to do better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then with the whole George thing, did you think when George overtook Piastri, and it was like he was behind Fernando on the last lap, but you're like, oh no, not again.
I actually didn't, but now you mention it.
They cut away. They didn't even show the fight.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he was close. Like, obviously Fernando Alonso tried to help Piastri out to keep him in DRS, so George couldn't overtake both of them. But I don't think George had enough time to overtake Fernando anyway. I don't think there was that much.
No, but I was thinking a few laps before, because when he looked like he was overtaking Piastri, I was like, oh no, he's going to be right behind Fernando again. I wonder if that's why Alonso did it. He was like, I don't want George behind me again on the last lap.
Yeah, I don't want to get penalty again, or whatever he got, a fine. What did he get?
He got
penalty points.
A 20-second penalty.
Oh, yes, he did.
Did you see him? Like, he was asked afterwards about it, and they were like, did you slow down to give Piastri a DRS? And he was like, I'm not risking saying anything.
Yeah, he didn't want. Yeah, I did see that, which is fair enough. Like, if they're gonna,
he's just messing around.
Yeah, I know, but you're gonna rip it all apart in the media.
But yeah, I mean, Alonso smashed it this race. Like, I think outperformed the car, to be honest. Like, and then.
Did you hear the funniest radio from Lance Stroll?
Do you know what he sounded like?
What?
He sounded like Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
He sounded really like. He was like laughing, wasn't he?
It's like a different category, man.
Yes. I know I recognised it somewhere. But obviously Lance was struggling, but Fernando didn't. But yeah,
that was some good overtakes though, but
that was funny.
He was nowhere near where he should have been.
No.
Whereas Alonso, smashed it.
Yeah, didn't Lance overtake like 3 people in a row?
Yeah.
That was good. But talking about overtakes, I want to mention Lando Norris had a lot of good overtakes as well.
Both Mercedes.
Yes. Speaking about Mercedes, obviously Lewis let George past.
Yeah. I think he's just a bit like, can't be arsed with this car.
Yeah.
If it's going to be 5th fastest.
Yeah. I was a little bit surprised, but also it kind of just made me think that is Lewis just
I don't know.
He's just kind of over the Mercedes now.
Georgia was on fresher tyres,
Yeah.
but
They were on a similar strategy, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really much to say about Mercedes,
No.
unfortunately. They're bringing upgrades to Imola.
That's good. That'll be good to see. A few cars brought upgrades this weekend,
Yeah.
but I don't think Mercedes was one of them.
I just hope they can bring something significant. But let's move swiftly on from them, shall we? Who was next? I suppose we talked about Yuki, who came 10th. And then
Obviously, Daniel DNF'd.
the Hasses did all right. Was it 11th and 13th?
Yeah, they did all right, actually.
Quietly consistent. No
Yeah.
points this weekend, but nothing really to change about them at the moment. I think they're in a good spot.
They're definitely in a good spot.
For where we predicted them anyway, and where they should expect it to be.
Yeah. It's quite exciting to see like where they could go from here.
Yeah.
And I do think that obviously Nico is slightly better than Kevin at the moment, but I think they're quite on par.
Yeah, they are. I think Nico's slightly faster.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite equal. We've got to talk about Williams.
Oh,
No
Williams.
spare chassis.
It's that.
It's
Do you know what?
it's-
Do you know what? I actually had hope at the beginning. I was like, oh my God, Logan Sargent's going to get points. I was like, he's going to get points. I just had a feeling.
Well, in
had a
qualifying,
feeling.
he crashed it, and I had a feeling he was going to
Yeah.
crash it. I was like, you know what, they've not got a chassis. I bet. Just because they haven't got a chassis, he's going to crash. And then he did. And it was fine, but he broke all the upgrades.
Was that not in practice?
Practice. Yes, it was practice, not qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, free practice 1, I think. Yeah, you're right. And then Albon crashes in the race. Obviously, that's not his fault, but he still crashed. And it's like...
I saw something that said, if I was Logan Sargent, I'd sit in my car during the red flag to make sure that Alex couldn't get in it.
I don't think it would have been allowed, but...
No, it was funny.
It's a joke.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
such a
and
shame.
Like James Vowell was like clip of him on the pit wall, just like, yeah, just like looking depressed.
Yeah, it's not good because Logan was actually doing quite well. He was like P11 at one point.
You know, early on when he overtook someone, who was
Yeah.
it? I think it was Alpine.
He was, yeah.
Was it Gasly?
I think so.
I was like, he's doing all right. His confidence is going to be a bit high, but I got a feeling because when he's in that state, he might crash or like make a mistake.
And lo and behold,
And he did.
He
Like it's
did.
just one of those feelings you get. It's like, you
Yeah.
know, when Max Verstappen crashed during qualifying in Jeddah, in Saudi Arabia in 2021, because he was on that mega lap, but early on in the lap he got so close to the wall and almost like crashed it there. I was like,
You had a feeling.
I literally said, I was like, he's going to crash this lap. And at the end of the lap he did. It was just one of
Wow.
those feelings that you get.
yeah, it's a shame because I think that he could have got points, and obviously Alex.
Who, Logan?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Depending on maybe. You just don't know what could have happened. He could have got the P10.
Yeah.
But he was doing really well, and then obviously yellow flag, and I was like, what is this yellow
Who's
flag?
this? Come on.
Oh, Logan Sargent's in the wall. Starts reversing out. At least he reversed out, and
Suzuka's one of
quite
those
quickly.
like pure racing tracks where it's like if you make a mistake in the gravel,
Yeah.
which a lot of people think that should be every track, and not these stupid track limits things where you can just go off the curbs and
Yeah.
you know, make a mistake and there's no consequence. It's like it's cool in that way. But I want to give an honourable mention to Valtteri Bottas.
He was doing
I think
really
he had a
well
good
this
race.
weekend.
Yeah, I think he kind of showed some of his old self.
Yeah, he did really well in qualifying. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Q2. He got like P8 or something, and I was like, what?
I don't know if it's a good or a better track for that seemingly awful car this year.
Yeah.
But it allowed some of his talent that we know he has to shine through. And I was very pleased to see him
Yeah.
making a couple overtakes.
It was
doing
really
well in
nice.
qualifying.
Yeah.
Ultimately, didn't amount to anything, but honourable mention there.
Yeah. I mean, the car's not that great, is it? However, Zhou,
Oh, DNF.
he's not doing great. He's
But he
qualified.
DNF'd, didn't he?
He's
But he
qualified.
qualified P20.
Yeah, and he's qualified quite badly
But then
every
again,
race this season.
with a car akin to the old Williams in like 2019, 2020, when it was just P19, P20 every race. What can you expect, to be honest?
True, but obviously Valtteri Bottas is doing considerably better in qualifying. So he's getting something out of that car that Zhou isn't.
No points, though. But it's like...
No points.
If you remember in that old Williams, George Russell was finishing like P19 every race.
Yeah. What do you think about the point system, actually? Do you think that past do you think they should change it so you can get a point?
No.
Okay.
It used to be points up to P6.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So the fact that it's up to P10 now, it's like...
But it's just almost like, what is the point in finishing the race? Like, if you're like 2 laps behind, it's like, what is the point? You may as well just retire the car and save the car for next time. Obviously, I'm not saying that drivers past P10 should just give up, but it's just like, it makes you think that sometimes it's just...
It's like competition, isn't it? You still want to beat your rivals.
Yeah, I suppose.
And if you're consistently coming higher than them...
Yeah. And I guess you just never know what could happen.
Exactly.
Because
there could be a 15-car pile-up.
Exactly.
And then you can...
If you're P15 once, you could be P1. No, you're right.
Exactly. They always need to be fighting, developing, and like they're competitors.
Yeah. It's just interesting to discuss.
They want
these
to race
things.
every week,
Yeah. Because obviously everyone has different opinions about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess from that point of view, like, there is an argument to be made for there to be more points available. But
I think if they add another team to the grid, potentially.
Well, there used to be 12 teams.
Yeah, so potentially adding up to P12, you get points or something like that.
I don't think they will. And I don't know if it will add much, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
It would just give more points for P1 and P2.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Which is like, no one wants that.
What? Red Bull?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who else haven't we mentioned? Alpine.
Oh, God.
They did a little bit better this race, no?
If they weren't French, I'd feel sorry for them. I'm joking.
Dear.
I like Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, I like Pierre Gasly too. And I actually really like Alpine. It's just a shame they're not there this year.
No.
What's happened to them?
It's like the McLaren last year, except they haven't sorted themselves out.
Yeah, not yet. To be fair, it's only 4 races in. We've got 20 races left. Who knows what could happen? A lot could happen in 20 races.
I know, but it's like the old Renault team that used to be sort of fighting for P3.
Yeah.
And now they're fighting for P10.
Yeah, it's not good.
P9, I guess.
I think their rivals kind of are Stake this year.
Yeah.
Stake still haven't sorted their pit stops out.
No. Guess they haven't had time to develop the upgrade.
Shame. Anyway, I think we've gone through all the teams.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about our predictions.
Okay.
So, qualifying, P3, I can't remember.
I put Charles Leclerc.
P3, I put Oscar Piastri. P2, I put Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
And P1, I put Max Verstappen. And also, someone commented saying that we were a bunch of Lewis Hamilton fans being delusional or something. It was just my prediction.
Yeah.
And although he didn't qualify P2, it wasn't impossible. It wasn't.
It's unlikely.
And yeah, I don't know, it just really offended me. Just making a prediction.
There's a subsection of Lewis fans and a subsection of Max fans that are very passionate about their respective drivers and don't have a filter on the internet. And so we should kind of just let them do what they need to do. Exactly.
Yeah. I can be a fan of many people, and I can predict many things.
Be a fan of F1.
Yeah, I'm a fan of F1. Allow me to be a fan of F1. What was your qualifying predictions?
I'm pretty sure it was Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, didn't happen.
We got Verstappen right, obviously.
Didn't happen.
That wasn't a
It
rogue
was
choice.
Verstappen, Perez, and
Norris.
Norris. Norris. It was Norris.
Yeah. You just put him in the wrong spot.
That was close then.
You were. You got two correct, but not in the right place.
No.
And then for the race, I put Oscar Piastri P3, Lando Norris P2, and Max Verstappen P1. I obviously had high hopes for McLaren this race.
Yeah.
When I should have put my bets on Ferrari and Sergio Perez. Sorry, Checo.
I put Verstappen, Perez, and...
Did you?
Sure I did.
You didn't put Perez because we said none of us put Perez in our top three.
That's right. No, I put Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. And I said they'll be
Yes.
fighting about that P2 spot.
Yes. Instead, they were fighting over that P3 spot.
That's true, yes.
So just slot Perez in there.
Yeah,
It
2
would
out
have
of
been
3.
Yeah, well done. And then my predictions were it'll rain and there'll be a red flag, which it did rain in
Yeah, but
free
you can't take
practice.
that one.
I can't take that.
Because I even said because of the rain, you were like, yes.
Yeah.
So,
There was a red flag. I was like, God, there's a red flag. Not because of the rain. I should have just said there'll be a red flag, but never mind.
it's all right because one of mine was Daniel Ricciardo will get points.
Yeah, you jinxed him.
That was absolutely
I was thinking when I was
the
watching it, I was like,
opposite of what
Will
happened.
jinxed him. If Will hadn't have said that, Daniel Ricciardo would have been absolutely fine. Would have had the race of his life. Never mind.
Oopsie.
My second one was Red Bull will have a poor pit stop, very long. That did not happen, obviously.
No.
No. Red Bull were too on it with their pit stops.
Yeah. I said that,
You did.
but
Never mind.
never mind. But I said Ferrari drivers will get very close and might have contact. But no.
I mean, they didn't get. I mean, they got close by a little.
Yeah,
Carlos
but-
overtook, but they didn't. They didn't really race each other.
No, Charles kind of let him through. And did you hear, like, Sainz's engineer
No.
kept saying, like, 2 more cars? And one of them was Charles. And he was like, good, 1 more car? And it's like, yeah, his teammate.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
It's like,
Just acting as if, fair. And then my last one was Ocon 20-second or more time penalty.
that's just silly.
Yeah, but to be fair, at the beginning, Pierre did touch Ocon with his car, but that wasn't Ocon's fault, and nothing came of it. It was just a little touch. But yeah, Ocon had a clean race,
Yeah.
so that was wrong.
Do you remember what my third one was?
Haven't got a clue. Couldn't you remember my 3 qualifying predictions? But it was probably wrong.
Yeah, I think it probably was. Oh, well.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
You know what? Maybe it's for the best.
Maybe it's for the best. We'll just forget about our predictions for this one because we weren't right apart from Max Verstappen, which I guess, should that even count anyway? Because it's just a given, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless Carlos Sainz is about.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What's the next race?
China.
When's that?
We've got a sprint race in China.
Yes, and I haven't been there since 2019. So they're going to have 1 practice session, then a sprint race.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to have much practice, are they? Probably a lot of practice on the sim over the next week or so.
Williams better hope they have a spare chassis.
Oh, God. Yeah, no.
So we could see some carnage there, some chaos.
That would be nice. It would be good to have a sprint race back. I don't actually know what kind of... actually, I do. They're doing qualifying for the sprint and then the sprint and then qualifying for the race and then the race.
Same as last year.
Same as last year. I kind of preferred it the other way.
Yeah, because then there was implications on the race from the sprint.
Yes,
And it wasn't just a separate race.
exactly. I preferred it the other way. But
Yeah.
it's a shame that they've continued with that way, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah. So have we got a week off this week or?
Week off, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then sprint races at 4 a.m. And then and then qualifying's at 8 a.m. And then the race is at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. race isn't bad.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
4
the
a.m. sprint.
sprint race, and then obviously qualifying is
Man.
4 hours after.
How am I going to get up for that?
Probably missed the start again.
Probably. Well, I better go to bed now then.
Oh, you said this last
I
time.
know.
You said this last time and you didn't get up. Actually, you said that for Australia and you did get up.
Yeah, I did.
Clearly it works. I actually have one more thing to say.
Okay.
I heard that in the press conference, Lewis Hamilton got asked a question about Ferrari and he got annoyed and stormed off.
Oh, yeah. I had that as well. Yeah. What was it about, like, are you jealous of how Ferrari are performing?
Yeah.
What a
Why would,
silly question.
why would he be jealous? Because he's moving there next season.
Exactly.
If anything, he'll be excited. He'll be like, I made the right decision.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting how he didn't appreciate that question.
No, these journalists sometimes are just
Yeah.
a bit silly.
But yeah, that was my final thing that I wanted to bring up today.
Yeah.
Anything else from you?
No, I think we've had a good chat about this race.
Yeah.
Ratings out of 10 for this race?
I'm going to say 6 out of 10.
You know, there were some good strategies, but ultimately it wasn't that exciting for me. So I want to say 5 out of 10,
Okay.
which
Not
is
bad.
sort of bang average.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of room for improvement.
Yeah, maybe I'm being a bit generous with 6 out of 10. Because
No.
it was quite average. But
Yeah,
then
but
it was...
There were some good strategies, but with a Ferrari, I mean, a Red Bull 1-2 and a Ferrari 3-4, and then, yeah, it's just, there's been a lot better races.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
it's quite clear which...
Australia was much better.
Yeah, Australia was much better. It's quite clear where the teams are. Mm-hmm. And there's a... Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so we'll look forward to China. But
Yeah.
for now, we'll call it a day.
Yeah, we'll call it
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah, catch us on social medias. Leave a comment, leave a like. Always love the feedback. But yeah, appreciate everyone watching, everyone listening. We'll catch you next week for China predictions. All right.
Bye.
Peace.